compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? They are homeless and hungry.
Now it's time for us to stand up for God or we fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
And good afternoon, Radio Cayman Nation, and a very happy Friday to you. Thank you for tuning into your station of the nation, Radio Cayman. I'm Ray Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Only 2 days to go until 2024, or if you count today, I guess that's 3 days. And very pleased to have on the show today the National Drug Council here to talk about their Arrive Alive 345 campaign. And then later at 1 o'clock, we'll have the FRC joining us in studio to talk about some of their first quarter programs for 2024. And we will also be giving away several tickets today for the New Year's Eve concert, Guy Penrod concert. As always, we do welcome your stories, feedback, and questions, and invite you to join the conversation. 949-6990 or WhatsApp at 925-3261. Back with more talk today following this very brief disclaimer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And pleased to have in studio Ms. Jody Powery from the RCIPS and Ms. Delissa Hernandez from the National Drug Council.
Hey.
Welcome. It's been a year.
Well, it has been a year since I've seen you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
I've seen you, Ms. Jody, and I don't see you once a year. I see you a few more times than once a year.
Yeah,
Usually
because I'm here. Well, yeah, but I'm here actually every month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
And then you're between the buzz and Talk Today. There's always reason to see you.
Yeah.
But no, the NDC is once a year. Arrive Alive. It's only once a year you like us, and I get it.
Quite quiet. Quiet until that time.
It's good though.
Until the purple comes out.
Until the purple comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Then the other team members will be in here talking about programming and what we have in store for the students.
Yeah.
But that's a completely different conversation, right?
But quiet's good, right?
Yeah.
Quiet means
we like it.
There's no trouble, right?
And we're doing stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah. Unless you have a toddler that's alone in another room and they're quiet.
Yeah, then
you don't want quiet.
No.
Then you know something's being broken.
Exactly.
You got markers all over your wall. I throw that joke out there only because Miss Alyssa has a young one at home, and
or all the Christmas ornaments are broken and on the floor, torn apart.
That sounds like experience.
Yes.
We've been there.
And you're like, why did you do this?
Jody and I are in the same kind of, same age bracket for our parenting elements, so different challenges. But
yeah.
You're in the toddler
I'm
stage.
the newbie. I'm the newbie in the team.
You are.
Yeah.
Which is,
Wish you best of luck.
Wish you all luck. You made it here. You know what I mean? We've all been there where you're like, oh, I'm running late and everything has gone wrong and every fire drill can go off has gone off. And
yes. I had a family event over the weekend, and put it this way, I was supposed to bring a pot of soup, and I make really good conch soup according to the family. I'm not giving myself any self-praise there. And I said to them, I'm sorry I'm late. And they're like, 3 hours. I'm like, I know. What happened was the baby was sleeping. He woke up, and then I couldn't get ready because he kept wanting to be held. And I'm like, no, I can't right now. And he's like, no. So he's like, my cousins are like, 3 hours. I'm like, sorry.
It's you're on their
But guess
schedule.
what? They don't have kids, so.
Yeah, they don't get, if you don't get, I remember when I didn't have kids and I coached kids, and some of the parents of kids I coached would say, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You might coach our kid. You might get this 1 hour and understand this 1 hour. There are 23 other hours in this day that you don't get it yet. And then I became a parent. I went, oh, I get it now.
Yes.
There's a different mindset.
Yes.
Like you start thinking differently and you speak differently. And yeah. Unless you're
Just to the other side.
Adjust your language to little people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like grandparents laugh at you out of nowhere because they're like,
I know. I'm living that
like
right
old
now.
people are laughing at you for no reason, right? And you're like, wait a second.
Oh no, I know the reason. My mother doesn't fail to tell me what the reason is that she's laughing.
Payback, Jody.
Yes.
Payback.
Apparently, I was a terror. So
We always get way off track. But I like
know.
that. I mean, it makes
It's
the
okay.
show more
Yeah.
more enjoyable, and you know, we've had a whole year just fly by, right? And not all good. So let's have a good laugh before
Yeah, of course.
the weekend, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Most
But
definitely.
Arrive Alive 345. Walk us through it. I think most people know, but walk us through it.
So we've launched the campaign in mid-November. We've had the designated driver program from November until the new year. And of course, we've had people pledge. We've had people out, our team out at the government building and at different locations on the island where people would sign a ribbon and they would pledge to not drink and drive the holiday season. So now we're getting to the end of the campaign where it's the ride free on New Year's Eve part of the campaign, where people can hop on the Purple Ribbon bus from 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve. And you can, if let's say you start in East End, you can take the bus down, swap over to another bus to catch, to go to the other location, whether it's in Georgetown or in West Bay. And, that route happens all the way until 5 a.m. So I think it's a pretty good
Solid 8
opportunity.
hours,
Yeah. So again, the bus will be running from 9 p.m. till 5 a.m., spanning all districts from Grand Cayman. And of course, as we know of the hours, it's really important for us to ensure that the community understands that we've listened to them. They've reached out to us over the years and expressed that the concern of, wanting to have more buses on the roads during that time frame. And so we've heard and we've delivered and we've added an additional 4 buses to the fleet this year.
Are they extra buses driving different routes, or walk me through the route process of how all the buses kind of work?
Oh, so it's a long process. It's a long process, Ray. I could just simply say that when someone catches the bus in Rum Point or East End, they're able to come down. Then they can swap over, whether that's at Savannah, Countryside, sure. And then they can catch that bus all the way to town. And then some buses will continue on to 7 Mile Beach. And then also there's buses over by Calypso Grill, further down by Bosun Bay. So the entire island there, you'll see these Purple Ribbon buses.
Sure.
And we have all of the routes, the 18 routes online on Compass Media /Arrive Alive 345.
Okay. We'll go back. We'll just repeat that a few times in the show.
Yes.
Compass Alive 345.
Yes.
Okay. The history of this, the program is a very noble initiative. Mm-hmm. It's one primary goal: make sure everyone gets home safe following a night of New Year's Day revelry, right?
Yes.
Walk me through a bit of the history of how the program started, some of the milestones you've had leading up to now.
So I've only started with the National Drug Council in 2019. I can speak that we are currently in I believe it's the 23rd year of the campaign. And, we went from having, I want to say 10 or less buses for a while to now having 18 buses. We've covered all 2 islands over in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman for years. We incorporated Little Cayman as well. We've seen jumps in numbers, and particularly with, we had all the tourist traffic and such. Before COVID, obviously, we had a large amount of community support throughout the country's lockdown, the island's lockdown. We've seen an increase in numbers as well during that time. We've had a significant amount of support throughout the years, both in-kind donations as well as, the financial support from additional sponsors. So overall, the successes have been there with the increase in demand and support throughout both the community and people who want to put into the campaign.
Well, it's good. I'm glad there's actually been the support for it.
Yes.
It's a unique one. It's not something you see in many jurisdictions where you have this level of coordinated support for one purpose for only an 8-hour stretch. It's only literally an 8-hour stretch where everyone's come together to make sure that we know people want to have a good time.
Right.
We know we're not shutting that. We're just going to try to make sure that everyone gets home.
Yeah, and on top of that, with the bar and restaurants supporting the designated driver program, we've had over 130 restaurants who've participated, and over the years that has fluctuated based on the market and such. But regardless, people or establishments who have decided to give those designated drivers who say that they're the designated driver a free non-alcoholic beverage for the evening is a huge opportunity to see that people out there are actually taking that drive safe, drive sober part seriously.
There's a vested interest for everybody.
Yeah.
On that note, let's go to our 12:30 break. When we come back, we'll have Miss Jodianne join the conversation.
Sure.
Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Again, pleased to have in studio Ms. Jody Empowery from the RCIPS and Ms. Delissa Hernandez from the NDC. Here talking about the Arrive Alive 345 program, all set up for this coming Sunday's New Year's Eve festivities. Taking the conversation over to Ms. Jody Ann.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Any New Year's resolutions for you before we get into it?
I don't have New Year's resolutions per se. I do know that I want to increase my fitness and health, and so I have certain plans that I may take into motion.
Awesome. You don't have to share those. You don't have to share those on there.
Thank you.
We'll save. But all the best. I know it's always one of those fun things to kind of take on, like what I want to do new for New Year, and
yeah.
So enjoy that.
But development across the board, professionally.
Good for you.
Yeah, personally. Yeah, that's my plan.
Very holistic self-development.
Yes.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Look
Go
at you.
girl.
Yeah. You'll get there. Don't worry. It takes about till age 10.
18 years?
No, about till age 10.
My son is 9 now, so it's about time I got my life back together.
Okay, fair enough. I got 10 years.
It takes about a decade, right? And they, then once they, they can use the microwave and fridge and all the, without breaking everything.
We're almost already there then.
Yes.
You haven't started school yet.
I know.
What are you talking about?
I got home to a defrosted freezer last night, so we're almost there.
Mommy, look what I can do.
I know.
Sorry, listeners, we're having some fun with us. We're all young parents. We're having some fun with it. So, Jody Ann, the RCIPS and their involvement with the Arrive Alive program, and it's a very holistic program. We have corporate, NDC, police.
Well, I think the idea was that, NDC was doing their Purple Ribbon Bus thing over here. RCIPS was doing the Operation Guardian, now Winter Guardian over here.
Yes.
And then Compass Media was doing, the designated driver program. And we all had the same goal. And so we decided to put it all together. And so to kind of make the message broader and bigger and a lot more holistic. So I guess that is the whole point of it. But Operation Winter Guardian is basically a safety campaign that we do over the holiday period. And a large portion of it is surrounding road safety, just because of the increase in drinking over the festive season, naturally, because, it's a celebratory time. And just because we've noticed a progression in a lack of care where driving is concerned. So it's important that we consider the 3 or 4 E's when, road safety is concerned, which is education, enforcement, engineering, and emergency service or emergency response. And so this part of it, the Operation Winter Guardian, is more so the education and enforcement aspect of it, where we try to educate people first, but in lieu of that, or where that fails, then enforcement falls in.
Which, prevention first, and then do your part. You mentioned engineering. What is that part?
Engineering is mostly a collaborative effort, usually between ministries and NRA, and in some aspects the police, where stats are concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's looking at the roads and seeing, if this is an area where there's, for instance, a lot of collisions, what's causing it? Yeah. Is it necessarily the driving that's causing it, if it's in this one particular area, or is there a consideration that needs to be made on, the composition of the roadway?
There should be a public consultation on this one. I can imagine a lot of callers calling, that one roundabout, there's that one
Well, I know the one roundabout you're talking about, and it has been considered, and there has been, but I think that roundabouts in general are just really misused.
They are.
They are actually intersections and should be treated that way, but they're not.
No.
Yeah.
The yield sign doesn't reflect
at
people's
all.
driving patterns.
No indicators and wrong lanes and not choosing the correct lane when and letting people off while you're already on the roundabout. And there's so many different things.
Yes.
So many
there
different
is a
things.
lot.
It really is. Yeah.
So now I understand the engineering element. And the last one was, of the E was?
Emergency response, which is what we are. Yeah.
Which, fair enough, and that much needed element of it all.
And that's what we're trying to limit.
Avoid, yeah.
And avoid the emergency response or the need for emergency response by pushing that education aspect as much as possible, which is why it's this partnership between NDC and the police and Compass Media and obviously Radio Cayman, because we're here every single year.
Every year.
Just trying to push that message through. And what we do to support the Arrive Alive campaign is we have an increased police presence.
Sure.
Throughout the holiday season, but especially on the New Year's Eve area. And in that, we do vehicle checkpoints regularly to kind of, one, show a presence, but also two, slow the speeding down, which has been like a major factor. Speeding and DUI is one of the main causes of fatal collisions throughout the year.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Have you seen an uptick in the DUIs this holiday season?
Not necessarily a uptick in DUIs. I think that we've seen now more of speeding being an issue. It's very encouraging to think that the message must be going through, because I do notice a lot more companies using, for instance, for their Christmas parties and stuff like that, they have shuttle services. And the shuttle services seem to be, being used from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So
that's good. You want to see that element of
absolutely
collective responsibility, right?
Yes,
Drivers,
absolutely.
Business owners, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So good news on the DUI side, bad news on the speeding side.
Yeah, okay. I just think I think that we have this mentality where we believe that it won't be us, like it couldn't be us type of thing, but it was your friend that was right next to you that night. So road safety doesn't necessarily discriminate, and you never know what happens. And I feel like people definitely need to take a little bit more consideration, or a lot more consideration, on their driving behavior.
It's an interesting one with the speeding element. I noticed a significant uptick in the speeding since the schools have been out. Like, there's been less traffic on the road.
Yes.
So the lanes have opened up, and all of a sudden people have just done,
woohoo!
It's open! I got 3 lanes to play with.
Absolutely.
Slow down, guys.
Yes, it is a slow down thing.
Yeah, and I know it's exciting, especially when you're coming from the Eastern Districts.
Sure.
Where, the traffic is usually
it's
very
usually very thick. You're like, I got some freedom.
But you're going to get there eventually.
Yeah, and there's an element between driving a little faster and then carelessly driving.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, you're driving a weapon. And I think many people do forget the fact that you are literally operating a weapon.
Yeah.
Your vehicle kills more people than guns do every year.
Especially in the Cayman Islands.
Yes, especially in Cayman. And we don't tend to recognize like that level of, I don't know, it's not collective. Because it doesn't take many to make the roads unsafe.
No.
It's only a handful that tend to do it.
Yeah.
But that handful.
Yeah, but I do think that there is a significant more than a handful of people that have a disregard for traffic violations, and I feel like it's because it doesn't. I believe that the public doesn't necessarily see it as a serious enough offense to heed. And I mean, the traffic law is under review, so we'll see what happens next.
Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting one. I think the texting driving is one that's always more so than the speeding.
Yeah.
The texting driving is one that's always kind of
really
rubbed me the wrong way.
I can't necessarily go into any specific stats today.
Sure.
But I do know that those tickets have also increased significantly. Yeah.
Good. I mean, it is just one of those things. I guess I think when I think back to my younger years driving, like my 20s, I could see where I would have thought that was okay. Mm-hmm. Hindsight, years of driving experience, I really obviously think it's not okay. It's definitely not. We've been driving around seeing people that are my age, grown people who are driving around and they're texting. And I'm kind of going in my head.
You know what gets me? I'm sorry, it's a pet peeve, so I'm going to mention it.
Let me hear it.
So it's the people who have the phone on speakerphone, but they still got it in their hand, like right here talking.
Yeah.
That really, really gets me because I'm like, Why does it have to be here if it's on speakerphone? Just put it down.
Put it down.
Yeah.
It's they're on speak for a reason, right?
They can still hear you.
Yeah. And it's you alone in the car and your phone is like this.
So I have the cue from inside going, it's break time, it's break time. On that note, before we get ourselves in any more trouble with our pet peeves of drivers, we'll send it back in studio for the commercial break. Back with more talk today right after this.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to be merry and healthy in the Cayman Islands. At Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we're not just a hospital and clinic with a talented group of local and international healthcare professionals. We're your partners in well-being throughout the year. So may your holidays be filled with the soothing sounds of the ocean, the embrace of good health, and a commitment to a healthier tomorrow. From all of us at Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we wish you and your loved ones happy holidays and a wonderful new year.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
Reflections Annual Countdown to Christmas Sale is on now. Complete your Christmas shopping super early this year by getting Reflections gift certificates for everyone on your list. Save 60% on all Adidas apparel. Find store-wide savings up to 60% off on tees, caps, shoes, and clothing. Selected Nike, Puma, and US Polo is 50% off. US Polo handbags. Buy one, get one at 50% off. Save on ladies' fashion jeans, 1 pair of jeans for $25 or 2 for $45. Includes select Levi's 100% cotton tees by Johnny Cotton, 2 for $34.99. Spend $25 and be entered to win up to $500 in gift certificates. Open Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 9 to 9. Located on Shedden Road beside Mango Tree.
See yourself in reflections.
105.3 Breeze FM live. Now it's an Man Bushman representing for 105.3 Breeze FM.
Hey, this is DJ Lynn. Join me Sundays from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 for Beach and Reggae Sundays. Whether you're out in a boat, in the backyard, or simply on the beach catching some sun, it's the perfect way to unwind for the weekend as the sun sets on our beautiful Caribbean Sea. Join us this Sunday from 2 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 Beach and Reggae Sundays. Brought to you by Cayman Airways. Call them at 949-2311 to book your non-stop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now Barbados. And Healthcare Pharmacy, located in Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Open Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Ray Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks in just about 10 minutes until our 1 p.m. news. Pleased to have in studio from the NDC, Ms. Delissa Hernandez and Ms. Jody Ann Powery from the RCIPS, here talking about the Arrive Alive 345 campaign. Delissa, if we could throw it back to you, just to really throw back to our listeners the nuts and bolts of the whole campaign coming up on Sunday.
All right, so I just want to reiterate. Remember, guys, you can hop on the Purple Ribbon Bus. It's free, FREE, please, and take advantage. We've been doing this service for the last 23 years, and we're doing it for you because we want to make sure that you arrive alive for New Year's Day, especially, not just throughout the entire year. It's important that you take advantage of this campaign. And of course, it's very straightforward. All you got to do is, stand outside the establishment that you're at. You're going to see a bus coming down with purple lights flashing. You just flag them down. They'll stop. They'll pick you up and take you to the next destination, whether that be all the way down in past Bosun Beach or all the way to East End. Buses are available for you. I also want to reiterate as well, you can log on to ndc.ky. You can click on banners there and it'll take you to the website for the Arrive Alive campaign, or you can log on to compassmedia.com/arrive-alive. And you can get all the routes on both of those websites, all the information that you need. We are still acknowledging the designated driver program, which will continue up until New Year's morning, that 5 a.m.-ish, whoever's still open, for those designated drivers who acknowledge that they're a designated driver, and they'll get a free non-alcoholic beverages from participating restaurants. All of those are also on those websites. I just want to continue to urge the community that this is something that is convenient for you guys in regards to the bus stops, the routes being all across all the districts on Grand Cayman. There will be water on the buses. Thankful and grateful for Foster's for their generous donation on all those waters on the buses, and just to make sure to be responsible throughout the evening as well. It's important to plan ahead, and just adhere to all the safety guidelines, to things that that you shouldn't do and that you'd regret the next day. And overall, if you're gonna drive safe and drive sober.
It's very succinct and grateful. Yeah, it's a great message. I like it. Yeah. You had it all lined up.
Yes, thank you.
So just want to touch base, and maybe Jordy, you can jump in here. Safety for just generally being safe on New Year's Eve. There's always a driving element, but there's also a scenario where you have more inebriated individuals who are also become more vulnerable in the same
absolutely
breath, whether it becomes access to the purses, whatever it might be. Any tips you can offer for the community?
Absolutely. So first of all, remember that not so recently, but recently enough, the DUI limit has been reduced from 0.1 to 0.07. Right, yes. So bear that in mind. My thing that I've always said is you can't really tell when you're over the limit. You can't. You don't know if it's going to be 1 drink or 2 or 3. So just don't do it. And if you have decided that you're going to be the designated driver that night, stick to it, please, because you have all your friends' lives in your hands. That being said, please, on New Year's Eve and throughout life, go out in groups and watch each other's backs. If you are having a drink and you had to go to the restroom or you had to put it down for whatever reason, don't come back to it, get a new one. Make sure that your phone, when it's on the lock screen, can call 911. Make sure that if you're walking home or, riding home or whatever the case may be, make sure that you have only one AirPod in and not both of them so that you can pay attention to your surroundings. And again, if you are walking or riding or whatever the case may be, do so in groups. Please do not use the scooters if you are drunk. No, it is not an offense, but yes, it is absolutely dangerous. Please do not do it. It is not a substitute for driving.
Sure.
First of all. And that being said, again, just look out for each other. If you're not driving together, if you're not carpooling in a taxi or taking the Purple Ribbon bus, call each other up at the end of the night. Find out if you guys got home safe. Everybody got home safe. We will be on the road in numbers as well. So in the event of an emergency, find an officer, make a phone call. We will definitely respond. And I can attest to that because I know the team that's working. Very, very efficient team. We're all very, very efficient, but it will be a good weekend. I have faith in that. Yeah. And yeah, just look out for each other. Be very courteous. Be very kind. to yourselves and to others, and not drink and drive. Use the Purple Ribbon Bus. This year we partnered with Everything 345, a social media page on Instagram, and we've placed a number of safe driving and holiday safety tips there. So if you don't have the RCIPS on your social media, but you do have Everything 345, please go and check those out and see what we have. We also placed one of the Arrive Alive posters on there as well as part of our package, just to get that message out and boosted it a little bit more as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's fantastic. I guess got noticed we got one caller on the line. If you don't mind, we could take our caller really, really quickly. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. If I can just ask you to make it very quick because we have to come to our 1 p.m. news in a minute. Please, what can I help you?
Yes, I'll just like to make a comment.
Please.
Yes, concerning the holiday season and people drinking too much. We also need to remind our people, also those who like to celebrate on their boats. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, caller. And a very, very solid point. I've seen the accidents happen on the water as well. And
very, very important.
I'm glad that caller actually made that point because actually it's in a scenario that I think goes very much under the radar. No pun intended, but I mean, I guess
I don't know about that.
From a messaging perspective, we hear about the driving.
Well,
we don't hear a lot about the boating.
Again, we do put a lot of our safety messaging on social media and our website. And we have been partnering with the Cayman Islands Coast Guard to get boating safety messages out there. Oh, cool. But I do know that the Cayman Islands Coast Guard are very big on patrolling our waters, especially on the Sundays and Mondays or the holiday Mondays when there is high activities going on. So, and they have been prosecuting on the water as well. So, I do think that it gets adequate coverage. It may just not be publicly known. So it's something that we've
the boaters are getting the messaging.
But I also want to add that if you're gonna boat and drink, consider having a backup, a co-pilot who isn't drinking, because at the end of the day, accidents will happen.
And no, at this moment there isn't an offense for boating and drinking, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't constitute a different offense.
Right.
So in the event that something does happen and you've been found to have been drinking, it means that you've committed a negligent act, and so it is in fact an offense to boat and drink.
Good to know. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
See, this is why you come on the show, because you're the source of information. You're like the walking encyclopedia for the RCIPS.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
Wow. There's no one else here to suggest otherwise. So that's it. You're the walking encyclopedia with RCIPS. You know what you mentioned? We have to go to our 1 p.m. news, but you mentioned the point about protecting your drinks, and there's something I saw the other day which I'd never seen them before. There's these stickers now out. I don't know if you've seen them. But you can walk around and it's a peel-off sticker that you can just put over your cup. And it's the same thing as like the foil you would have on your like applesauce.
You would be able to know that if your drink was tampered with or...
No, you just put your straw in it. And it protects the drink from anything else getting inside the cup.
Oh, okay.
So you could walk around and not worry about dropping something unwittingly.
I still wouldn't...
You still wouldn't use that?
No. I mean, I would use it, but if I left my drink alone, I still wouldn't mess it up.
Fair enough. Yeah. I thought it was an interesting scenario where it's like, it's that...
It's a good idea.
It protects it while it protects it while you have it.
While you're having it, you're sitting at the bar and you've seen people like
because I mean, and the thing is, and something that we have to understand is that we live in a changing world, and Cayman Islands is changing, and there's so many different things that are coming in and out that we didn't have in the past or didn't have to consider. So we have to make sure that we're prepared for the inevitable
and aware around of our surroundings.
There's a sponsor out there. I'm going to throw it back out. There's a sponsor who wants to sponsor those. It's a great little label.
While you're talking about sponsors, though, what I want to challenge? I want to challenge a business owner who is probably considering some kind of philanthropy to consider providing the Arrive Alive bus service throughout the year, or at least at special events throughout the year.
Yes, please.
Rather than just on New Year's
Eve. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have Bada Banu, we have Pirates Week, we have K-Mass, we have so many different things going on throughout the year where it could be necessary.
You put it out there and you put it out to the
I
universe.
And I'm sure we'll be willing to help.
More than happy.
This is what you all do, right?
And with that being said, we are going to also thank all of our sponsors for allowing this year to happen. I won't say them all one by one, but thank you to all our gold, silver, platinum, and bronze, as well as our in-kind sponsors for allowing this, for helping us to ensure that this campaign was pulled off. And of course, I want to reiterate the collective commitment from the RCIPS, Compass Media, National Drug Council, and Radio Cayman for always supporting the Arrive Alive 345 campaign. And just to remind the community, this is free and available for you starting 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve, straight through until 5 a.m.
And the website, one more time, is
compassmedia.com/arrive-alive.
Arrive-alive.
Or you can log on to ndc.ky and just click that banner.
Awesome. Yeah. The banner is also on the RCIPS
website.
Yeah.
So plenty of places to find. There's no stranger. You can't
And social
find
media.
And plenty of social media.
Yeah.
Arrive Alive 345.
Yeah.
On that note, we do need to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. Miss Jody Ann Powery, Miss Lisa, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
All the best with your New Year's resolutions, mommyhood, all the fancy jazz, and
thank
happy
you.
2024.
Same to you.
Back with more talk today, right after this.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Information to the people. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
Brought to you by Health Services Authority. The Cayman Islands Judicial Administration and Courts Office will close at 1 o'clock today. This is the final day of early closure for the courts, and the courts are expected to resume their usual hours for all courts, including summary, Grand Court, and the Criminal Registry Office on Tuesday, January 2nd of next year. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Boeing is urging airlines to inspect its 737 MAX airplanes for a possible loose bolt in rudder control systems. The airplane maker called for the inspections after an international operator discovered a bolt with a missing nut, the Federal Aviation Administration said. An airplane's rudder is used to control the aircraft while in flight. And Donald Trump has angrily denied claims by the director of Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, that he bullied his way into a now famous cameo. The former president made a brief appearance in the 1992 film in a scene filmed at the Plaza Hotel, which he owned at the time. Director Chris Columbus said Mr. Trump insisted on operating in the film if they used the hotel as a location. But Mr. Trump said the filmmakers were begging him to appear. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Brought to you by Health Services Authority.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac,
on the 8th day of July, 1936. Captain Fred Elman Scott was the fifth child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott enjoyed a fulfilling career at sea, spanning more than 50 years. He was ahead of his time, employing his mathematical and computer skills to create payroll software, depth charts of Georgetown Harbor, and his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. He had 6 children and was married for 52 years to Bernadette Silva, whom he met during his tenure in Brazil. In 1954, when Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II visited, Captain Scott had the distinct honor shaking the Queen's hand and piloting the Royal Yacht Britannia and anchored it in the Georgetown Harbor. Captain Scott was a humble man who liked his khaki suit and cap and loved to share his knowledge with those who crossed his path. He was honored at the National Heroes Day, acknowledging the seafaring heritage of these islands.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Big shout out again to Miss Jody Ann Powery from the RCIPS and Miss Delissa Hernandez from the NDC, here discussing the Purple Ribbon campaign and all the efforts that have gone into making sure that come Sunday, when everyone's out celebrating New Year's Eve and the entry of our brand new year, that they are getting home safe. But now we do have on the phone, joining us from the Family Resource Center, Miss Anne-Marie Diaz. Miss Anne-Marie, good afternoon, and thank you for calling Talk Today.
Hi, good afternoon, Ray. Thanks so much for having me today.
No, it's a pleasure. I know you're, it's the holidays. I know it's a last-minute kind of show appearance, and but how has your holidays been so far?
So far, so good. Lots of time with family, which is always wonderful. How about yours?
You know what? It's been half busy, half, a nice balance of some relaxation, some work.
Yeah.
I will say that the 4-day weekend we just had, somewhere I think the universe robbed us, and it felt like 2 days. Like that 4 days went by way too fast.
It did. Yeah, I agree.
And the joke my boss made was that the older we get, the faster time flies, and I had to go, oh, well, that's not fair. But so walk us through, if you don't mind. I know the FRC has a ton of programs always on the go. You just come off International Men's Day and the 16 days of activism against gender violence. Were there any other programs you had this past quarter that I missed?
Those are our big campaigns that we run every year towards the end of the year. And so now we're looking at 2024, which is almost upon us. And we try to meet our parents where they're at and based on what we're seeing in terms of rising trends. And we listen to our parents, our clients, in terms of what they need. And so one of the things that we continue to see an increase is parents coming that either suspect that their children maybe have ADHD or their children have recently been diagnosed with it, but parents don't necessarily understand what the diagnosis means or what this means for them as a parent. Do they need to parent differently? And if so, how? So we have, at the convenience of parents, a virtual workshop starting on January 8th, which is a Monday. And it's lunchtime, which is quite convenient. So just an hour. Parents can be at work and they can tune in, during their lunch period just to get a bit more information. And it is interactive too, so parents can ask questions and get to know a little bit more about what does this mean, what should I be asking the doctor, where do I go from here, basically. So that's one of the things that we're starting off with in 2024, but we have several other programs coming up.
A couple questions on the ADHD program. Yeah. So is it a scenario where you mentioned that you're following various trends and then following input or requests from parents within your network. Are you seeing a trend of parents requesting more help for ADHD situations or a trend of a higher rate of ADHD?
Well, what we're seeing is parents coming in, accessing our services, wanting to get some more information and strategies on how to best parent their child because maybe their child's getting in trouble at school or they're not quite sure how to support their child at home either, right? And so they're coming in with that and then coming in letting us know that the child, recently got a diagnosis of ADHD or the parent is suspecting, or the teachers may be saying, hey, this might be something to check out. And so what we do is we provide information on what ADHD is, what it can look like, recommendations that can support in terms of if a parent is considering, say, medicine. Obviously, a doctor has the final say there, but we let our parents know a plethora of information so that they have all those tools to make the best decision for them and their family. And then we give lots of different parenting strategies that are supportive towards a child that has ADHD. So parents aren't necessarily coming in asking for information on ADHD, but they're coming in clearly not knowing enough. And so we want to bridge that gap for them.
Okay. And then as far as you mentioned it was starting on the 8th. How many weeks is it running now?
So it's just a 4-week virtual workshop. And then if a parent wants to kind of stay on and get some more information or get some individualized support, we recommend that as well. Or they might even be accessing our services in a one-to-one basis and they can hop on to that workshop too. So it works either way. But if a parent decides, I need even more, I need to, fine-tune what this realistically looks like for my specific family, It's always great to get some additional information on a one-to-one basis once you're done.
No, of course. So, and very fair. And then next question, and then I appreciate this is a 4-week program. How much, and I'm asking on behalf of parents out there, because if you're looking for these type of workshops, I can imagine there's some anxiety at first on the parent behalf on joining these workshops. What is the work or the collaboration like with the schools and the FRC and the parents in that regard, or is there much collaboration in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. So it can vary. It depends. If the parent is coming to us for individual support, then we do, with their permission, we can reach out to the schools to offer support. One of the main ways we do this is if a school or a particular classroom are having challenges with behavior, we can offer our SNAP classroom workshop, which is a 6-week workshop where we go into the classroom, we teach self-regulation skills to the students, but then the staff as well are learning those strategies, and then we kind of encourage them to keep that going in conjunction with whatever they already practice, but to keep that going too, to encourage the children to keep up those skills of self-regulation.
Okay, so I'm glad to see there's more than just the 4-week shop, and there's actually more of an interactive and collaborative approach to it.
Absolutely.
All right, and then so that's a 4-week program. And next up, so you have 3 programs, I believe you were pushing in the first quarter.
Yes, we have several coming up. Another one that we'd love to see be successful again, which we held at the end of this year, was our Fathers First program. So a big mission we had last year was to increase our services to males, whether boys or men, and one of them was our father's first group, and it was so successful. I was so pleased to hear back from the parenting practitioner, Mr. Andre Bailey, that led it. And there were a few gentlemen that joined, and it was really nice because the dads were either, they themselves had different ages. Their children were different ages and stages of development. And, some dads were still maybe in the relationship with the children's mother or were separated. And so they were able to also not just learn all sorts of different strategies from the practitioner, but they were also able to share support with one another. So it became sort of like a peer support group in addition to learning professional recommendations and strategies from the practitioner. So it was a really nice group, and we're wanting to start that up again January 31st, which is a Wednesday, at 6 p.m. So most dads have voiced that they prefer an evening group because they might be working during the day. So we're offering that at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, January 31st.
And that's a one-day program?
No, so once a week for 8 weeks.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, it used to be, it's a program that we continue to develop. It used to be longer than that, but we felt that obviously parents are just getting busier and busier nowadays, so we've shortened it to 8 weeks, but we've jam-packed it with as much information as possible. And the lovely thing about it is that we're quite flexible in the delivery, so we tailor-make it for the parents we receive. So the practitioner would have delivered information pertinent to those participants that were in the group, and he will do that again. So if there's a particular topic or a theme that's not necessarily relevant to the participants that are in the group, he won't go into it. He will go into specifically what those participants are in need of. And so that's what's quite nice and unique about this program. And then, of course, that it's for dads only.
No, sure, and that's a good. It's an important initiative. I mean, I will say, as a father myself, and having seen some of the challenges that fathers in Quebec or around the world rather can actually go through, to see some of the not the deviation, but the progression and the maturity of the FRC to start involving, or to rather start furthering these initiatives. I think it's an important initiative. Now, what are some, when reading the flyer on the Father's First program, there was developing, if I can remember correctly, I'm going off the top of my head, developing stronger network, dealing or looking at some of the challenges that fathers face. Can you elaborate a bit more so that fathers, because what I've noticed in the community, and not just here, but there is an aversion for many men to join these types of programs. And it's not just, it's not isolated to Cayman. It's quite common in many jurisdictions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's happened is we have, and women have been a part of this story too, is we have undervalued what men and what fathers bring into the family, right? And so what's happened is sometimes fathers themselves, they take this message on and they maybe undervalue themselves as well. And this is just a way to kind of correct that narrative to say, of course, fathers are imperative to the success of any family, whether they're with the mother or they're co-parenting or whatever the case may be, because sometimes fathers can, from various communications with the mother or family members, can maybe isolate themselves a little bit more from the children if they're separated, or other issues. There's so many dynamics that can push a father away from feeling valued and feeling that encouragement to continue to feel like they can keep going and supporting their children, right, without being kind of demonized. I know I'm kind of speaking very generally, but obviously it depends on the dynamics of that unique family. But we just want a space where fathers can feel that this is a space for you. This is a space where you can be open and honest and transparent with one another, with the practitioner. You're not going to be judged by anybody, and you can be open with your unique circumstances in what has kind of led to maybe you not feeling as present in your child's life, or you wanting to develop that relationship further, or you wanting to maybe correct things with the co-parent or with your spouse, depending on the situation. So it's really just there to have fathers feel valued and feel like they have a space where they can be vulnerable and open and without, at risk of being judged by anybody.
Interesting. I was just kind of processing the platform for the for this 8-week program. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it's a step in the right direction. It is a step where we need to see more, not necessarily more services, less. But you said it yourself, the less demonization of fathers. There's such a stigma that's put to fatherhood. We say it's one of those scenarios I see across, and again, it's not just Cayman. We say on the one hand, fathers are important, fathers matter, and then anecdotally create so many hurdles in the same sentence that make it so difficult for fathers to actually be meaningfully involved with their kids, where they're constantly feeling it's an uphill battle. So it's a step in the right direction. I think there's a lot of merit to that program. Now you mentioned the bonding or the stronger support network, or developing a stronger. Do you mean within the actual program, or showing fathers how to create this support network outside of the program?
The program itself can stand as part of that support system, because I think if you're kind of operating as a standalone father, there's little resources that are targeted to you specifically, or you're not entirely sure where to go. We let you know about all the different resources available in the Cayman Islands. The program itself stands as a resource, and then in terms of your fellow participants, they share with one another what they have found successful, and then the practitioner themselves shares professional recommendations there. And it's a way to create and strengthen the support systems maybe they even already have, or potentially repair if there are spaces where there can be some repairing.
Strong kudos to the FRC for this initiative. The stats on the value of fathers in the community are unrivaled when you compare it to communities where you have a much lower density of fatherhood. So Cayman can only benefit from seeing more of these programs.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And it's something that we've run it in different ways throughout the years. And it's gone away for various reasons. I think because it wasn't maybe being accessed as much as we had hoped, but it's something that through our International Men's Day campaign that has been voiced by the men that have been participating, is that this is something that men want to see back. And so instead of just having it, serviced in the prisons, we want to make sure that it's community-based as well, and make sure that we're supporting keeping families together or as strong as possible.
Again, kudos to you, and perhaps promoting them within the various circles where you have. Well, I appreciate this for all fathers. There are quite a number of circles for single fathers in Cayman, which are untapped, and perhaps that's the next route. But you also have parenting sessions you're doing in general, but I read correctly, individualized parenting sessions?
Yeah, so in addition to the various workshops we have, no matter what time of year it is, year-round, we do individual parent coaching and support. And so this looks like one-to-one meeting with a practitioner to get some professional recommendations, to talk about your concerns, or it can be used very proactively where you're thinking, okay, my child is about to become a teenager or they're on the cusp of teenagehood. I'm not so sure what I should be thinking about or considering as I enter that stage in development, or I'm thinking about potentially separating. How do I prevent or ease this as much as possible as we go through quite a tremendous family transition? So it could be a myriad of family issues, or just trying to be proactive or just wanting to speak to someone who has the professional insight to say, yes, this is great. You're doing all the right things. Keep it up, which is always very validating and encouraging. And then to say, and here are some other resources, or here are some other things to think about as well. So that's really what we're here for, and it's completely free to all residents of the Cayman Islands. So that's the question sometimes we get, I don't have health insurance, or, I don't have Caymanian status. None of that matters. We meet with you as long as you're a parent that's raising a child here in Cayman Islands. We work with you, we support you, and that can look individual, or that can look like a little bit of a mix of group and individual, depending on the needs of that individual parent.
I love that last one, and it's a very robust. The fact that it's one-on-one offers a little more. Not that it's the privacy that's needed, but it's every parent situation or every family situation is unique to that family, and group scenarios can be, unfortunately, if you're not open to being vulnerable, it can be quite anxiety-driven when you're trying to discuss how to parent and how to wrestle with your challenges.
It can, but I can tell you, parents who have gone into group, who have been a little hesitant about it, they usually come out feeling so glad that they did it and so upset that they hesitated for so long, because they often find that they have just felt so alone and been parenting in isolation, and all of a sudden there's someone who, has experienced almost the exact same thing they have, and that they're not alone, because some parents might feel like their child is getting labeled as the bad kid, and all of a sudden they go into a group and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one, and my child isn't a bad kid, and there is, there are things that can be done, and there are other parents like me going through the same thing, and that can feel so reassuring and comforting to know that you're not alone in your parenting journey, even though sometimes it can feel that way.
As a single dad, I can honestly appreciate that. Yeah, I can thoroughly appreciate where you kind of feel like you're kind of riding your own little shuttle, and there are other people actually riding their own shuttles, and better carpool at that point.
Yeah.
So for the community who's looking to actually find out more information about your services, how can they reach out to the FRC?
So anyway, really, if you go onto Facebook and Instagram, you can get instant access to registration to our various programs, or our individual services. And if you're not still quite sure, if you want to actually become a formal client of ours, you can even just start off with 30-minute parent phone consultations. So that's where you're just registering. You're giving us some brief information about what you'd like to talk about. We give you a call at a convenient time for you, spend 30 minutes talking about the issue. And if that isn't sufficient, we will maybe say, hey, come on in and we'll give you some more support. But sometimes the 30 minutes is enough to point the parents in the right direction. So we also offer that. Or you can email us at frc@gov.ky or give us a call on 949-0006. Unfortunately, we will be closed because of the New Year's coming up. But on January 2nd, which is the Tuesday, we're back in operation. And so, but any time in between that, you go ahead, you register, or reach out to us, and we'll respond to you as soon as possible.
That's fantastic. Anne-Marie, thank you so much. And then one last question. So the three programs we discussed today, those are your January initiatives running into your first quarter, or do you have other programs in your first quarter that you want to quickly shout out?
Sure. There is one more I'd like to shout out. We have several others, actually, but we will be doing one on Fridays at 12 p.m. Again, this is a virtual workshop for 4 weeks starting January 19th. So that's for parenting children that present with anxious behaviors. So that might look like tantrums, or that might look like other, symptoms of anxiety, and a parent is struggling to support that child, especially maybe even getting back to school. They might start to see those behaviors come up a little bit. If they want to learn a little bit more about anxiety, parents who have attended have felt that it supported their own way of processing and managing their own anxiety as well as their child. So it's been beneficial in that way. And we're starting that on Fridays, January 19th for 4 weeks. And again, that's a lunchtime virtual workshop. But there's several others. Obviously, there's so many different dynamics.
Sure.
and families in the Cayman Islands. So it's best to reach out to us. We're free. All our services are completely free, all backed by research and evidence. So it's, nothing that's just coming out of the top of our head. This is strategies and information that is backed by years and years of research and studies that all parents who access our services and put those things into practice have nothing but great things to say when they're done.
That's great news. Anne-Marie, thank you so much again. All the best for the New Year's, and hopefully get to chat with you again soon.
Thanks so much, Ray. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year. Bye.
All right, listeners, back with more talk today right after our 1:30 break.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
The holidays wouldn't be the same without a little boom from Fireworks Limited. Cayman's biggest firework discount megastore is now open behind Massive Equipment in Industrial Park. Fireworks Limited has a megastore full of new fireworks and offers huge volume discounts.
Stock up early and save big on the widest variety on island. Fireworks Limited is behind Massive in Industrial Park with tons of parking. Open until 6 p.m. every night and until 9 p.m. on December 23rd and 30th. Open Sunday, December 31st, 11 a.m. until 5 p.m.
Boom!
Check out fireworkslimited.com.
In life, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whoever I care about
is protected by the very best.
With Sagicor Life of the Cayman Islands, you'll have critical illness coverage and life insurance to help you protect what matters most. Call 949-8211 for more information.
Texting while driving causes 40% of road fatalities in the Cayman Islands.
Mommy, put your phone down.
Just 1 minute, honey. I need to send a message to your dad.
Mommy!
But what if she wasn't texting while driving?
What if she just waited until she got home?
What if we just put down our phones and stopped to think? What if, as a community, we rose to the challenge of keeping our roads safe? What if we came together to stop these accidents and fatalities?
What if we all walked the road to zero
and decided no more in 2024?
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Ray Singh, holding down the fort for Sterling Dwayne, who we hope has been enjoying his well-deserved vacation. Kind of one of those nostalgic moments where you kind of realize that this is our last show of 2023, and the year has absolutely flown by. We've had some ups, some downs throughout this year, and I was kind of reviewing some of the headlines that we've had over the course of the year, and we kind of tend to forget. Humans tend to have this very short-sighted memory where we forget all these things that have happened until someone goes, "Oh yeah, that happened." And so I was kind of reading through a list and just going to throw some of these topics out there. And again, our lines are open if you want to give us a call and jump on the Talk Today before the end of 2023, 949-6990. Some of the top stories of just the past 6 months. And I thought this was wild. This is only in the past 6 months. That was probably top of the list was we saw a change of government just in this last quarter. And for what it was worth, irrelevant to what happened before or what happened after, this relatively seamless transition that we saw is one of the things that stuck out to me the most. Generally, after you see a significant change like this, there's a period where there's upheaval and there's a bit of chaos. That didn't happen. This was a scenario where we all went home on a Friday and came back on a Monday, and a whole new government had just completely changed over. It was something that I thought was an impressive element. Cayman being delisted from the AML Grey List. I thought that was a milestone moment, and I attribute to the work that Minister Andre and his team over there have done. I mean, we consider the impact that list has on we here in Cayman don't have significant natural resources where, like other jurisdictions, that they mine, they use their natural resources to fund their economies, or much of the economies. We have our diving operations, but outside of that, it really falls to our finance industry, that big robust engine, and that is a huge step forward for something that is an important element to Cayman's economy. Cayman Airways, the LA and the new Barbados-like flight, and something that sees an interconnectivity with Cayman through the rest of the Caribbean. It's something we don't see a lot throughout the Caribbean. We see this inter-Caribbean travel. It's always the fly up to Miami or fly down to Port of Spain and then ferry across. And this was a direct sister connection flight between two Caribbean islands. I thought that was a huge step forward, not just for Cayman, for the Caribbean. We're talking about a very far eastern Caribbean island. We saw very recently the resurgence of the cruise port discussions and potential for referendum in the near future. Another big part of our, whether we want to look at green tourism or the more robust cruise line tourism or stayover tourism, it's a huge part of what drives Cayman's economy. We have many in our industry here who work in this industry. And seeing that come back onto the table for discussion, I think, is a huge step. Huge step with a forward backwards if anyone to decide, but it's a huge element of our news industry. One that really stuck me out as well, we do have one call online, we'll go to in just a second. The other one was that we're now seeing the increase in the 10-story condos. And this is another big one. It filters in through the real estate conversation. It filters in through the landscape conversation. filters in through so many different elements. I remember when early or 16 years ago, if you were to look at Cayman and the landscape, more open space, you didn't have the 10-story developments that were on the docket just yet. And then they came in, and now we're seeing more of these industries opening up and seeing cranes quite literally dotting the horizon on most days. It's a different view. Again, whether good or bad is for anyone to decide for themselves, but I think it's an important change, an important topic that I saw across our news headlines. We do have one caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Singh.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you today?
You know, it's a Friday afternoon. It's close to the end of 2023. It's been a pretty wild year, and overall, though, I am quite grateful to be where I am today. How about yourself?
I'm thankful as well. You're a pretty calm person, though.
I tend to restrain that stoic reservation tends to kick in a lot of times, at least in this seat.
Of course. I would like to say something when it concerns development in these islands. I think that we should welcome development. Those big businesses. Personally, I would like to see even other companies in Cayman. Even I don't know how it would work, but probably if we had the presence of, say, for example, an office for the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, CNN, their presence in Cayman. I spoke to some people about it and some other things. Some things, but I would like to see how that would look, having those companies or types of other added companies here. I like skyscrapers. I like, big business. I like, that sort of stuff, It takes us to higher level. It's success.
You know what? There is you're not wrong. That's just it, right? There's always both sides to a coin. And while there's be those that argue against the bigger developments or bigger business and more environment, at the end of the day, economies are not driven by beauty, right? Our economies and how we live are driven by, quite literally, the economics of how things work. And if success means, as you say, like having more development, having more big business, then that's not necessarily a bad thing. Not if it puts more food on the table, right?
You better believe it.
And then, I think there's a lot of merit to what you're saying. Absolutely. If you're talking about putting food, it's always finding that balance, right?
Of course.
No, it's an interesting one.
I like to see myself in an advanced country.
Sure.
We're an island. We're islands, but it doesn't mean that we have to stay behind. We have got to move forward. We have got to advance. We have to be modern. We have to be, striving for the top. As a serious, financial center. With good things happening, a great strong economy. We have got to build. We get loans, so we got to pay loans.
Sure.
We got to pay. Yeah, we got to pay them off, and of course, those people who are doing the big buildings and stuff, they're doing good things for Cayman. I like to see that. It's beautiful, all those beautiful buildings, and all the. I can't forget the stars. All the good superstars coming to Cayman. Saying all that good stuff. It's always
that.
welcome.
No, but I think you have a lot of strong merits, and while like any political conversation or any economic conversation, you're going to have half that don't like and half that do. You raise some valid points. I think many do want to continue to see Cayman continue to develop and to stay a leader, not only in finance, but in the Caribbean amongst our neighbors. On that note, though, caller, we do have to go to a commercial break, but I do have a Guy Penrod ticket. We have 5 tickets given out, and for our first 5 callers, we're going to get them. Since you're our first caller, we have one ticket for you. What is your name, sir?
Sir?
What is your name? We have a Guy Penrod ticket for you.
Oh, Mr. Brown, Craig.
Craig Brown. Craig, if you're interested, we have the Guy Penrod ticket for you. Your name's on it, and I'm going to leave it for you at our front desk here at Radio Cayman.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And all the best for the new year.
Same to you.
Thank you. More talk today after this.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go and flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Planning a holiday party this festive season? Drop into Reflections Liquor for Less and discover the incredible Price Better markdowns. Hundreds of fine from $99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of Absa.
Exclusively at Liquor for Less. Enjoy our big bubbly blowout sale for your New Year's Eve celebration. Fantastic manager specials on your favorite fizz. Prices so low, we can't say them on the radio. Visit our 5 Liquor for Less locations on Sandway, McClendon Drive near the airport, North Church Street, Savannah, or North Side. Ready to serve you. Open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays.
Please drink responsibly. Non-alcoholic beers, wines, Reflections gift certificates, and gift wrapping available. Merry Christmas.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Ray Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Thank you again to our last caller who called in with some very valid points in regards to Cayman's development. Going back to the list of some of the top stories that I read of just literally the past 6 months of 2023, which is pretty amazing given it's been a whole year. There's been many more stories than this. One of the cool stories I saw was the Ministry of Agriculture introducing 5 of the hydroponic units to help with sustainable farming in Cayman. I think this is actually the wave of the future for farming in many ways. We're not just looking at arable land in the future. We're looking at building up vertical farms being the future. And we look at more of these buildings that are coming up, the 10-story buildings especially, seeing all these buildings coming up. There are many of opportunities for vertical farming along some of these buildings, and I think this person, maybe not in the next 5 years, but in the next 15 years, when we start looking more towards how we create more sustainable food, I think these hydroponic units and more of these vertical farms, container farming, are going to become the wave. They produce higher volumes of food per space than our typical ground farming. On the other side of that coin was also the DOA, also the beef breeding program with the importation of more cattle. And we've had conversations in the past with the Agriculture Society as well as other farmers in regards to cattle farming. in Cayman and introduction of more locally raised and produced livestock. And I think that program, that Stronger Beef program, beef or cattle breeding program rather, shows that collective effort. Again, we're looking at long term. We can grow a lot of our own food in Cayman. We just need to have a collective farming mindset that we're going to actually make that work. And seeing these two stories just in the last 6 months of 2023, I think gives many hope that we will see hopefully lower food costs, as we've seen the rising food costs in our stores, because we're not filtering in all that importation cost. Ironically, on that, the other major stories that I saw were and this one has hit everybody. There's nobody immune from this one in Cayman, and that was seeing the food costs go up, the population growth, property prices, the interest rate hikes, just this collective cost boom that everyone saw over the past year. And really has been going on for the past 2 years since the interest rate hikes of 2021. But seeing that cost, and we've seen it continue to balloon in certain sectors, and I think for many, looking at 2024, there's a hope or a wish that we're all hoping that we see these start to deflate, and that things start coming back to a more reasonable or sustainable level, because I think at this current rates, salaries aren't quite keeping up with the cost of living increases. And I think many can attest to that. That is the case across the board, from your youth activities to your grocery bills to your electric bills, whatever it might be, you're seeing these cost rises. And so despite many of the free services or extra services that are offered throughout the community, and government does a lot to do that. We just had the FRC on talk about free programs. We talk about lunch programs. We talk about laptops. We talk about so many things that government does do. So I'm not putting government in this position of saying what more can they do, but we need to see some form of collective deflating. And how that happens, that is far above my pay grade, because I really don't know. To be fair, like, it's such a collective situation. Moving on to more fun topic. Not fun, but topics where I think we always focus on the bad in news. Or not always, but majority of the time. We've had 2 football players from Cayman go pro this year. Just this year alone, 2 professional football players. Gunnar Sudenhoff went over to the Colorado Rapids just very recently. And then Molly Kehoe went off to Cardiff City FC in the women's program. That's 2 Cayman Islands football players who have done amazing. Robert Thompson Jr. winning Mr. America, another huge moment. And there's so many, like, and swimming alone, like, I don't have the brain power to remember all the swimming accolades that Cayman accumulated just this year, but we have the Crooks brother and sister duo out of Tennessee. We've got a number of players that are out there, swimmers that are out there swimming for various schools, boarding schools. In golf, we've seen our Cayman Islands make a step into the Masters. I was just recently reading, in research for the show, I was actually recently reading a Sports Illustrated article about Mr. Jarvis and how the whole Cayman Islands was featured in Sports Illustrated as part of having one of our athletes from a very small community playing at that level. But he's not the only one. We've got Justin Hastings out at university. There's not just those sports. We've got hockey players out there. We've got basketball players. We've got Joshua Gower, who's playing out at Texas State University. That's a lot for a country, for a jurisdiction that's of this size. And granted, our population boom has happened over the past 3 to 4 years. But prior to that, all of these athletes were within a jurisdiction that was only 50,000 people. And to have that level of maturity, of athleticism, that's a community effort. That's not just coaches doing it or parents doing it. That's parents, coaches, administrators, government, facilities, all of those elements, all of those investments have created these opportunities. And we're talking about athletes that come from various different socioeconomic backgrounds. So it's not just, it's just the privileged kids who are getting these opportunities. These are kids that come from a diversity of backgrounds. From track and field, I've left track and field off the list because, again, there's so many accolades that we're doing in the track circuit. So again, I want to give a big shout out to all those 2 football players, which is Gunnar Studenhoff and Molly Kehoe, who have gone professional and they're now playing professional football in both the United States and in the UK. We recently had the Cayman Classic tournament, and for those who may have missed it, this tournament might only be a few years old. I think it's about 6 or 7 years old now. But we had on our shores here in Cayman some of the top teams from the NCAA in the United States. This is a massive economic engine in the United States. NCAA sports is a huge, huge engine, from football to basketball to hockey, you name it. They cover track and field, swimming. And we in Cayman, basketball is quite big, and we follow the Heat, we follow the Lakers, we have those arguments. But the NCAA is where our student athletes go off to play basketball. We now have one playing Division I basketball out of Texas State, and we just had on our shores this NCAA tournament, of which we're probably going to see, of all the teams that came down, at least 5 of those teams playing in March and April when we have March Madness, right? We're going to start seeing it. We had some of the top female basketball teams. I think it was 3 or 4 of the top ranked 10 teams here in Cayman. That was only, about 5-6 weeks ago. That's punching far above your weight. When you have that many teams coming down to Cayman, it shows, as the last caller said, like, we're building for these opportunities, and we're having these opportunities come down here. And those programs are running camps for our kids, and I thought that was really cool. This last one I wrote down here, it wasn't a top story. I didn't see it in any newspapers yet, but I did see it on social media. And I honestly have to say, I thought this was the coolest story that I saw out of all of these. Not more important, but cooler. There's a crosswalk that has just been put out by Mr. Arthur's in town. And I'm sure that all of our listeners out there and all of our fans out there know of Mr. Arthur's. I've grown up with Mr. Arthur's. And the new crosswalk that was just put in to help customers get across a very busy road there, and to help Miss Loney get across the store there. And I saw the posts on social media where people were cheering on that this had been done. And I haven't spoken to Dr. Bond about how long it took to kind of get this crosswalk in gear and in motion, and several generations of family members who have had to try to work to get that in there. Kudos to whoever made this happen and got this crosswalk put up there in town. It's something as simple as a crosswalk in Cayman means a tremendous amount. We might be a very large finance jurisdiction. We might be the amazing diving globally. But we took time to make sure that crosswalk got put out there for the safety of the cruise shippers who are crossing that same road. But to make sure that the staff, the 1 or 2 staff members that work in that store, can get across that road safely. And I thought that was a very cool element. So again, whoever made that happen within government, whoever actually got that roadway that crosswalk put in there for Miss Arthur's store, again, kudos to you, and thanks for making that happen. We're going to go to our 2 p.m. headline news in just a moment, but we have 4 more tickets for the upcoming Guy Penrod concert on December 31st. That's at 6:30 p.m. at the First Baptist Church. We're putting it out there to our callers, and very simple scenario. I'm going to follow a trend that started a few years ago, and Miss Susan reminded me of it. And that is, a couple years back, we had a guest announcer in studio who threw out a question for anybody to call in and recommend who they think should be Cayman Islands Person of the Year. If you have, Times Magazine has that Person of the Year category. Well, we don't have Times Magazine here. We do have Radio Cayman, though. And so if you have any recommendation for who you think should be the Cayman Islands 2023 Person of the Year, it could be anybody for any discipline, for any reason you want. You can nominate your mother. You can nominate your pastor. If I remember correctly, the winner of the last one was Miss Susan Watson herself. The number of callers that called in to say Miss Susan was the Person of the Year. And I remember I had just started at Radio Cayman not too long before that, and I remember sitting back going, Miss Susan's famous? I'm sitting here with the world famous Miss Susan? Now it's on cloud though, right? So we're heading out to our 2 p.m. headline news. Please give us a call. Your recommendation for who you think the 2023 Person of the Year should be. And maybe if you have 2 people, you can recommend 2 people. There's no award for this. It's just something to give you an opportunity to call in your favorite station and give a shout out to who you think has earned the title of Person of the Year. 949-6990. Here's our 2 p.m. headline news.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
School Inspectorate said the Cayman Prep School has kept many excellent judgments from the previous inspection and made a number of improvements as well, giving the school a good report. Children in kindergarten and students in primary had good and improving attainment and progress in English, mathematics, and science. The curriculum had improved to excellent in the secondary phase of the high school and provided students with, quote, a curriculum which was relevant, broad, balanced, and challenging. Good afternoon once again. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A British woman and her 22-year-old son have been killed in an avalanche while skiing in France. The 54-year-old mother and her son, who have not yet been named, had been skiing off-piste near the Swiss border when they were buried by an avalanche on Thursday. The deceased were part of a group of 5 people from the same family with a guide they had known for years. The 2 victims were found after around 5 hours of searching by 2 first responders and 2 helicopters. They were found buried and deceased. And L'Oreal heiress Françoise Bettencourt-Myers has become the first woman to amass a $100 billion fortune, and that's according to a ranking of the richest people in the world. The French beauty empire, founded by her grandfather, is on track for its best stock market performance in decades. L'Oreal shares rose to a record high in Paris on Thursday. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to be merry and healthy in the Cayman Islands. At Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we're not just a hospital and clinic with a talented group of local and international healthcare professionals. We're your partners in well-being throughout the year. So may your holidays be filled with the soothing sounds of the ocean, the embrace of good health, and a commitment to a healthier tomorrow. From all of us at Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we wish you and your loved ones happy holidays and a wonderful new year.
Listen to the general public. Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Ray Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And we're down the wind down, our last show of 2023, and we put out a challenge to our community, or not a challenge, but a fun way of calling in and nominating who you think would be Person of the Year for the Cayman Islands. And it could be for any reason. It could be because they did something really awesome, they've been more community-minded, whatever it might be, whatever accomplishments they might have achieved. And we do have one caller on the line, and again, the first 4 callers that do call in with their suggestions do win a Guy Penrod ticket for the New Year's Eve concert. So good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Happy week before New Year's Eve.
Yes.
So, yes, are you calling in to make a nomination?
I am. I'd like to nominate Sandra Hill.
Awesome.
From Cayman Mall Road. I know her. She's out there advocating for the blue spot, bad parking, lost animals, Anybody who loses something on social media, they post it. Everybody's like, get it on Mall Road, you know. And I think it keeps people accountable, you know. People are finding things and posting it on Mall Road, and, you know, they find the owners, whether it's a wallet or a bag, you know, lost cash, you know. So I think she's doing a fantastic job. Definitely worthy of a nomination for Person of the Year.
Well, thank you very much, caller. I appreciate you calling in, and hopefully you've started a trail and we get more callers now recommending whoever they think might be. But I will pass you back to Miss Susan Watson right now, and you have, if you just give her your name and your number, and we have a Guy Penrod ticket for you. And thanks again for calling in and nominating Miss Sandy.
Thank you, Mr. Ray, and have a Happy New Year when it comes.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Thank you. And thank you for that call, Rhea. So our first nomination is for Miss Sandy Hill for the unofficial. If this is unofficial, there is no prize that's being given out. There's no trophy. There's no Times Magazine photo. But our first nomination was for Miss Sandy Hill from Cayman Mall Road. No stranger to Radio Cayman. She's been on our show before, and she's called in. Yep. And then as far as heading back to some of our stories again for this year, phone lines are open 949-6990. If you have your recommendation for a person of the year, someone who you think has contribute in some meaningful way to our society, whether it be through community service, whether it be through sports, whether it be through culture, through the arts, through music. I know we've had a number of musicians that have gone off island and done some pretty cool things this year. So please have a think, throw your thinking cap on, and have some fun and give us a call and let us know who you think could be the 2023 unofficial person of the year. Second caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thanks for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Raymond.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Good. This is Dion. How are you?
Dion, what's that? How you doing, good friend?
Yeah, I want to nominate, although I second the motion with Sandra Hill, I would like to nominate Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
All right. So we have two. You're nominating two people. We could take two.
Yeah.
I'll take two people. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
All right. So Sandy Hill.
They really help in the community, both sides, you know.
No, I think I agree. I agree all the way with you.
Yeah, both sides. The other public, you know, more on the public side, Sandra Hill helps a lot, really, when there's a lot of problems. Same thing in the afternoon with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
You know, I agree with you on both counts. I mean,
Yep.
Sandy, and I do appreciate you calling in, Dion. Dion, I'm going to pass you back over to Miss Susan. If you can just pass along your name and number to her so we can make sure you've won a Guy Penrod ticket.
Wow.
Yes, thank you again, Dion.
Thank you so much.
And I appreciate all the work you've done for the music community here in Cayman as well. You've done a lot of work yourself.
Yeah, man.
Thank you again, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All righty. So we've got two people have called in so far, making their recommendations for Person of the Year, and noble reasons, the work they do to get messages out there, both Sandy Hill and Sterling Dwayne. So I guess I'm backing up a potential Person of the Year host, so that's something fun and cool too as well. Again, so any callers, or if you're just tuning in, we've put out a unofficial poll, just to have a little bit of fun on our last show of the year. If there's somebody in the community who you think has done something notable this year in 2023, whether it be through community service, through their community vested interests, whether it be members of parliament, whether it be members of your church. It doesn't have to be anybody well known. It could be your neighbor, it could be your mother, it could be your son or daughter, who you think is doing some pretty amazing things to better the Cayman Islands and make the Cayman Islands a better place to be. Sports, arts, music, culture. There's so many arenas that people do amazing things in our community. We just had on the Jubilati the other day. We've had the Humane Society on. All these groups and nonprofits who are doing a lot of work to help in their niche or in their bigger arena. So much. We tend to focus so much on the bad news. It's human nature. We tend to look at the bad news first and glaze over the good news. And this is an opportunity, I guess, to kind of shed a bit of light and focus on some of the good. And I brought up that crosswalk by Mr. Arthur's the other day, but so many things that we're doing on the musical scene, artists that are getting opportunities to travel abroad and play abroad, on the football, sorry, on the sports side rather, because the number of athletes who have come through the Cayman sporting system in some capacity that are now performing at some extremely high levels, extremely impressive to see a jurisdiction the size of ours put out so many. And the amazing part of this is those athletes are. That's not the end of it. We have so many athletes coming up behind this crew that it's like this triangle or this pyramid that are just like funneling athletes up. And we got to give a shout out to the athletes of yesteryear, the Lee Ramoons and the Cayman football team that led the charge against Jamaica, the infancy of basketball and the growth of basketball in the past 20 years from Island Games development and seeing where we are there on the golf side, on the swimming side. And we've just heard the Honorable Premier talk about the importance of having that 50-meter pool in Cayman. We're going to see more swimmers. We're going to start really seeing just how influential Cayman is on the sporting element, and swimming is going to be that next major one coming up the ladder. And so many more sports. One more caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to nominate, yes.
Please.
I would like to nominate Ms. Peter May Borden.
Oh, great one.
Yes, she's always doing things in the community wherever she can help out and everything. So I believe she's an excellent nominee.
You know, I agree with you. Ms. Zita May's on the Civil Service Association. She's the quadrille dancers. You see her at every cultural event, and
yep.
She's all over. You know, funny story I have with Ms. Zita May is last week we did a special episode about Cayman Christmas with Mr. Lockley Banks, and Ms. Zita May sent in her photos of backing sand and with her baskets, and I thought it was a very cute scenario. So I love that nomination, Ms. Zita May Borden.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Miss Caller, if you don't mind, I'm going to pass you back to Miss Susan. If you can just give her your name and number, we have a Guy Penrod ticket for you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you.
All right. So again, thank you to our last three callers. So far, we've had nominations for Miss Sandy Hill from Cayman Mall Road, Mrs. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, the regular host of Talk Today, and Miss Zita May Bodden, Miss Zita May, who's been all over the community in so many elements, from cultural events to music to working with the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association, who we just had on the show last week, and who I believe is having their AGM right now as we speak, actually. So again, thank you again to our caller for nominating Miss Zita May and just the influence she's had in our community and the cultural side to make sure that the parts of Cayman culture that we've enjoyed so much in the past, and seeing the quadrille dancers and her singing all out there again and keeping it at the forefront throughout the community. I love that. So in just a few minutes left in our show, we're going to head to our 2:15 break. And we come back, we have one more Guy Penrod ticket. Again, the phone lines are open. If you have anybody you want to nominate for a Person of the Year, please do give us a shout, 949-6990. And it can, again, be for any element. It could be an MP, it could be a member of your church, member of your community group, sports, music. There's somebody you feel who has done something this year that could warrant an unofficial Person of the Year. Give us a call. In fact, more Talk Today right after this.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Deck the halls with beautiful furniture and decor without breaking the bank. Enter the Beacon Furniture Holiday Raffle and win big. That's right, shop at Beacon Furniture and you can be our next winner. With each purchase, customers have a chance to win $500 in Beacon cash. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to spruce up your home for the holidays. Join us on December 30th for the drawing at each location. 2 lucky winners will be chosen, one at our Savannah store and another at our Red Bay location. Each winner will walk away with $500 in Beacon credit. Don't wait, start shopping today. To learn more about the Beacon Furniture Holiday Raffle, visit our website beaconfurniture.ky or come by our stores. 2 locations, 32 Hearst Road, Savannah. Call 945-2348 or 386 Shamrock Road in Prospect. Call 943-2500. Good luck and happy shopping.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Ray Singh filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. We are at the tail end of our last show of 2023. It's amazing how fast the year has flown by, how fast the show has flown by. But we do have an open call line right now. We put out a unofficial bid for Person of the Year. And we do have another caller on the line with a nomination. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Serena.
Hi, Serena.
I am calling to nominate Phoenix Singh for Person of the Year.
All right, this might be a little cheating. This is my baby sister calling in on the line.
Hello.
Oh, I love it, Serena. Thank you so much for calling in. That's really funny. So funny enough, I do have Phoenix actually in the studio with me right now, ironically. I didn't realize you were actually on the phone. So, Phoenix, would you like to say anything?
Well, thank you for nominating me. I didn't expect.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
Me neither.
So Miss Susan knew we had a caller on the line, and she didn't tell us who the caller was. So we got caught off guard by you. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Serena.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
So unfortunately, I can't give you the Guy Penrod ticket because you got to be here in person to go to the actual concert itself. But I do appreciate you calling in, though.
You can come
That's
down
all right.
here.
Thank you so much for calling in, Serena.
That's true.
So
All right, you guys have a good day.
You have a wonderful day and Happy New Year. So that was a unique call. I wasn't expecting my baby sister to be calling in on the line and nominating Phoenix. So I figured if we had the tail end of our show for our listeners who are just tuning in, it was Bring Your Child to Work Day because school's out, unfortunately. So my son's been here at the studio watching, and I figured I'd bring him into the studio for the last tail end of our show. And so you got a nomination. I love that. And for anybody who's actually seen the Phoenix Sewing channel, not to give any promotion to the channel, but so the lady that called in, Aunt Serena, is actually the interpreter that you see signing in all of the videos on the Phoenix Zone and All Things Cayman. So that's the interpreter we have to make sure that, I guess, Phoenix, why do you have an interpreter on your videos?
So that anybody who's deaf, I can get more subscribers and I can share the information that everybody's learning to more people.
I love that answer. So Phoenix, if you could pick someone for Person of the Year, think carefully. Who would it be? And if you don't say me, you might get grounded. Just kidding. You're not going to ground you for not saying me.
You.
Nah.
Okay. So,
this is a good smart answer. But who would you pick for Person of the Year? And why? You have to pick me why.
It's kind of hard.
All right. It's a hard decision.
Through all the people I met, I would say some of the coolest ones and who do really good job
All right.
at what they do. So I would say Ileana Parry, Miss K-Man.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a smart answer.
Because
I like that answer.
she's really good at promoting the Cayman Islands, and yeah.
She was a great ambassador for the Cayman Islands. So we have a nomination for, I like that one. Miss Cayman Islands, Miss Ileana Parry. I'm going to put that one on the list here. Now, you can't win the ticket because I don't want anybody saying I was unfair and I gave you a ticket because you actually didn't call in. You were just sitting in the studio. So we have one more ticket out there.
But I can grab my phone right now.
The jokester makes the jokes. No, I love that one. So while we're waiting for a call, so callers, we do have one more ticket for the Guy Penrod concert. Lines are open, 949-6990. We're doing an unofficial call-in for if you think or would like to nominate someone for the 2023 unofficial Person of the Year. We have one Guy Penrod ticket up for grabs left. It can be anybody for sports, community, your church, an MP. We've got a lot of MPs doing a lot of great work right now. Some of the nominations so far, we've had Sandy Hill from Cayman Mall Road, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks from Talk Today, Ms. Zita Mae Bodden, Phoenix Singh, and Miss Ileana Parry, Miss Cayman Islands. One more caller in line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, I'd like to suggest and nominate the Deputy Premier, Mr. Andre Ebanks.
Thank you. That's a great one, yeah. Deputy Premier, I'm writing now. Sorry, 1 second. Thank you so much for calling in. Why did you recommend Minister Andre for the unofficial nomination? Or Deputy Premier, so I apologize.
Well, I see that he's a man that's serious about helping the Caymanian people. And he's someone that you're able to send anywhere in the world as a Caymanian and feel proud about it.
It's a very great answer. No, caller, if I don't mind, if I could leave you with Miss Susan, if you could leave her name and number so you can make sure you get your ticket for the Guy Penrod concert.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and thank you for calling in. I really appreciate you calling in. And so the caller's recommendation was for our Honorable Deputy Premier, Mr. Andre Ebanks, who I've known personally for a number of years now. And I agree with the last caller. He's done a lot of great work with the community. He's been involved in several different roles within government while he's now our current Deputy Premier. He was our former Deputy Chief Officer within the Ministry of Community Affairs back in the day. He represented the Cayman Islands over in England as our dignitary or ambassador in the UK, and during a very trying time during COVID, when we were trying to get our students back over to the Cayman Islands from the UK, and he was very instrumental in that whole procedure, and then running for elected office, and now sitting in the Deputy Premier seat, and a great nomination, our Honorable Deputy Premier, Mr. Andre Ebanks. So again, we have about 5 minutes left in our show today. I do want to say thank you again to our callers who called in and have won a ticket for the Guy Penrod concert, but our phone lines are still open. So even though you may not win a ticket, if there's a recommendation you have for the 2023 Person of the Year, again, it's unofficial. There's no Times Award for this. There's no trophy for this. Maybe a little bit of bragging rights on Talk Today and Radio Cayman, but if you have any callers or any suggestions rather, for who you would recommend for the 2023 Person of the Year. And it could be for community service, it could be for their sporting achievements, musical achievements, anything you felt that warranted just a shout out on Radio Cayman to close off 2023. Please do give us a call, 949-6990. And while I have a few minutes, I can chat with our guest in studio, Mr. Phoenix Singh. So you've had a recommendation. Your aunt called into the show, which we didn't realize was on the phone, and recommended you for Person of the Year for your channels. Can I ask you a question? So 2023 flew by. You've had a busy year. Do you have a favorite moment of something cool that you think you did in 2023?
Well, I would say starting my channel.
Starting your channel? You mean your YouTube channel?
Yeah, my YouTube channel, my Facebook channel, sure, my Facebook page. Yeah.
Well, you had so cool. You were actually on Talk Today once. Actually, we were both on Talk Today together with Mr. Sterling Dwayne. You got to play your 2 songs. So that was a pretty cool moment. So your YouTube channel, though, launching your YouTube channel. Do you have a favorite interview that you've done?
Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah.
Coming with my second song.
Ah, okay. So that's right, because you came with your second song this year. And what is your second song, in case our listeners may not have heard it? What is your second song called?
Island Boy.
Island Boy.
And I'm coming with my third. I'm coming out with my third one soon.
Oh, yeah. All right. But you don't want, do you want to tell anybody about that yet?
No.
No? No, I don't.
Well, I guess did, but...
We got to keep that one a secret until you're ready, right? I love it. So favorite moment was launching a YouTube channel. I love it. We do have one more caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like to elect Miss Dorleen Welcome. She's a community officer in the Georgetown area, and she does a good job. She sees to it that the seniors get out, and whatever they do, she's always there to take us wherever we want to go. Whatever it is, she and her team. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling him. I appreciate it. And I love that answer as well. I have not met Miss Whitaker that was recommended just now, but what a noble call, Miss Dorleen Whitaker, the representative for Georgetown.
Welcome.
Oh, don't welcome. I'm sorry. I apologize. Miss Dorleen, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much again for calling him. I do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And have a very happy New Year.
Same to you. Bless you.
Bless you too. So, Miss Dorleen, welcome, the community officer for Georgetown. And I love when I hear the recommendation like this, and because we do a lot of work in the community to help our seniors from many facets. And to hear a caller call in and give a shout out to Miss Welcome for her efforts and just going above and beyond and doing those little extra things that put a smile on people's faces, especially around this time of year when it's just a very, very challenging time of year. So on that note, since we haven't got any other callers that have called in just yet, we will, I'll give you another minute if you want to give a call in and make that recommendation, 949-6990. But we are approaching that closing time from our show. I guess I want to give a shout out again to our guests that were on the show today. And a reminder in regards to the NDC program, the Purple Ribbon Bus Arrive Alive campaign, which is going on this coming Sunday for New Year's Eve. We have a lot of festivities going on this Sunday, and the goal is this collaborative effort with the RCIPS, the Compass Media, NDC, and several other sponsors, including Foster's, who have come on board to help put this program into effect and help make sure everyone gets home safe. Again, if you want to find out more information about the robust or the Arrive Alive campaign, go to compassmedia.com/arrive-alive. You can also go to the NDC page. You can go to the RCIPS page on social media. Find out about the stops that are being offered, where to actually go, how to go about getting your bus. Whatever you do, travel safe, be safe. As you heard the RCIPS here mentioned earlier, protect yourself, protect your beverages, protect travel in groups, travel in pairs, be safe. If you are drinking, definitely don't be driving. And definitely just have a good time, but you want to make sure that you get to see 2024 arriving alive, right? Oh, so sorry, wait, come back on there. But the again, so that's the Arrive Alive campaign on compassmedia.com/arrive-alive. On that note, though, we do need to call a wrap for today's show, our last show of 2023. Thank you again to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio KMN Nation. Our guests from both the National Drug Council and RCIPS and the FRC. And of course to Ms. Susan Watson, who's held down the Talk Today and Business Buzz and For the Record Forts throughout 2023. And she has done a lot. She's the glue that keeps this studio functioning in that background with the team that supports her back there. So I do want to give a shout out again to Miss Susan Watson. Thank you again to the young man beside me, Mr. Phoenix, who's in studio now and taking part in today's show. On behalf of the entire Radio KMN family, have a very happy Friday, have a safe weekend, and have a very, very happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2024. I'm Ray Singh, and God bless.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
You're listening to Radio Cayman PM Show.